and researched with Isaac Darlington.
Bon après-midi.
Oui, merci.
Okay. I think that means good afternoon, I think.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I did a small bit of French. Like I can tell you pantalon, I think, means
Yes,
pants.
pantalon. Oui.
I forget what seat is, but I just
Chair is chaise.
shares. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think I completely forgot. But it's good to have you on once again.
Thank you.
So, pizza
Yeah.
or matoke? Let's talk
Thank-
foods now.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Mm.
Why? Okay. You are into. Did you ever feel like there's a local food you really want to have?
Yes.
And what local food would that be?
It would still be matoke,
Okay.
but I would not like. If I had the two in front of me, I don't think I would pick matoke first. If I be completely honest with
So
myself.
you do matoke and what for sauce?
Peanut sauce.
Okay, that's nice. That's really nice. Me and my guest have been having a small conversation. I believe this particular episode is going to be very interesting because it cuts across. It's not just Uganda; it's wider. She's from Bali,
Yes.
I would say. In fact, I'll be confident enough to say she's a Mbale girl, but she's had a vast experience with different places, different cultures, different traditions.
Yes.
So you're welcome, Elsie.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you in or on the Unresearched podcast.
Yes.
I asked you a question before,
Yes.
and I want to know how many countries have you traveled to?
I've traveled to quite a few, including the ones I've lived in.
Okay.
For the countries that I've lived in France, Switzerland, Uganda, Ethiopia, and the US.
Okay.
But for the countries I've traveled to, there's ones that I traveled to for layovers, like Egypt and the Netherlands.
Okay.
And then there's the others that I visited properly, which are Kenya, Sweden, and Italy. Yeah.
So, where are you living now?
Right now I'm living in France.
Hey, wow. So I actually asked you this question earlier, and I'll ask it again. Why France?
So before I was living in Ethiopia, and that really was not like a good fit, like the environment, and I just was not really enjoying being there.
Okay.
And living in Ethiopia is it's one of the most different African countries.
Oh.
So a lot of African people who live there struggle with it a lot.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like a uncommon experience for people to move away or for other Africans not to really like it. And before, when I lived in Switzerland, we were living in the French-speaking part. So me and my brothers learned French.
Welcome to Dawn International School, Mbale's first Cambridge curriculum school, proudly leading Eastern Uganda in world-class education. We offer a vibrant and engaging preschool and primary program tailored to inspire young minds. Our preschool has playgroup, nursery and reception, primary section from year 1 to year 6. In our secondary school, students excel with IGCSE and A-level exams. Plus, they have the unique choice between British A-levels or the ACT American exams, opening doors to global opportunities. Our campus is designed for excellence, featuring a well-stocked library, a fully equipped science lab, spacious playgrounds, and a variety of extracurricular activities. Join our community of highly qualified teachers and eager learners. Enrollment is open now for our January 2025 intake. Call us today at +256 759 393 283 or visit our website at thedawninternationalmbale.com. Find us in Mbale Senior Quarters, Boma Ward, near Thatch Gardens. Dawn International School, where global education begins.
You have brothers. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 brothers.
You're the only girl.
Yes.
Oh. You'd say you're the first. You're the what position are
I'm
you?
third born.
Okay. Interesting.
So
So you get all the princess treatment.
kind of, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And I hadn't practiced for 1 year and decided if I'm going to move somewhere else, I would like to go somewhere where I can continue practicing my French so I don't lose it.
okay.
So that's why I chose France.
What's your experience like? I mean, firstly, you lived in Uganda,
Yes.
and now you are in different parts of the country. You've had this experience. How different is that life from the Ugandan life?
So basically, for the last 5 years, I haven't lived in Uganda. And I would say each place has its own differences to Uganda.
Okay.
Like culturally, like people are more closed off in the other places I've lived. And it's very different with how you interact with other people. And so I've had to learn that. And yeah, it's just not in Uganda, it's more of a community environment. And in those other countries, it's really not. In Ethiopia, it is like that
People are
for
really closed
being,
off.
yeah. They're closed up. They can open up, but in general, they're not going to be like a Ugandan open after like meeting them for 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Which education system do you prefer? Did you go through the like our very basic brutal, hellish, or I mean, I don't even know why I've asked because I know which one you're going to tell me you prefer. But just comparing the two education systems.
But I never actually went to a Ugandan school. When I was here, I was in an international school.
Okay.
But even though I've been in a lot of different curriculums, I've done the French, the IB, IGCSEs, and the American system.
Okay.
And um, I think I would prefer IB. Like in the younger stages when I did it for only 1 year, but I'm also going to do it next year. They did PYP, and I think that was
What's
what
that?
I,
What's PYP? What's IB? I mean, there is just
yeah.
because a lot of us are not familiar with those
Yes.
terms. Yeah.
Okay, so for the IB, they split it up into multiple sections. Like it's under one curriculum, but the IB is the last 2 years. And you in primary, it's primary years program, so that's PYP. The next is middle years program, MYP. Last 2 years are IB.
Okay. And what does that entail? What are the subjects in there? What exactly are you studying?
I only did the PYP for 1 year when I was in grade 5. And we had all the normal subjects, math, English, but the things that we had that were different were we had visual arts and performing arts. So with visual arts, just normal art class. We just had art classes, and then performing arts, we learned how to do music, how to act, how to do all of these different like performances. We learned how to do monologues, how to like just perform.
Okay.
Yeah.
You studied a bit of business as well.
Yes, I'm studying business now for the IGCSEs.
How do you intend to use okay, so you're doing business now.
Yes.
Do you intend to do business on a global level? Do you tend to be a person who travels and does business? Do you see yourself as an actor or actress? What's your target? What's your career? Where do you think you'd fit in comfortably?
If I was to start a business, I don't think, I really do think it would be in Uganda.
Wow, Uganda
Yeah.
still. Definitely
Because,
Mbale girl, because remember, I told
yes,
you straight at Mbale. Yeah. Okay. Firstly, wait,
yes.
is it the weather, Chicho? What attracts you to leave France or, I just want to put up a business in
In Uganda,
Uganda?
it's because there's a lot of different businesses that I can see in other places that I can come and replicate here
Okay.
because I would know what works for a Ugandan. Because there's a lot of businesses that they have out in the other places that would just fail in Uganda.
Yeah. Such as,
Like there's some restaurants that if they brought here would not do very well.
okay.
Like how Pizza Hut didn't do very well, but KFC did. Like how if McDonald's came, I don't think it would do very well. There's just certain things that would not thrive in Uganda.
But then again, there are some businesses that would thrive, yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I'm not
blessed
sure
like
if I
that.
can give like a concrete example right now, but I know there's different ones that could definitely do really well here.
Do you how has that affected your relations? Like your friends, you have different friends in different parts of the country.
Yes.
How do you, just keep in touch and make sure you're staying connected? Because earlier I asked
Yeah.
you how many friends you have in Bali, how many friends you have in Kampala, then in France. Yeah. How do you balance that out?
It's really hard to balance and it's really hard to keep in contact with people. And I wouldn't say I've done it well because sometimes you just have a lot of people and some people slip through the cracks. And it's hard to also keep in contact with people because some people don't want to keep in contact.
Why?
So it's just hard to find the balance between people who are interested and people who are
Not
not.
okay.
And that's something I'm still learning how to do. And learning that, like, not to be too disappointed if somebody I was friends with for 5 or 6 years is now just doesn't care, because I was gone for now almost for 5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. In Uganda, we have a different system of parenting,
Yes.
and the places you've been to is a different system.
Yes.
Which do you think you would use years from now, when you've, which, let me phrase it like this. Which do you
Yes.
think makes more sense in the times that we're living in? Because your Wazeis, your parents are African, and they have balanced. I think they've,
They balance the two,
yeah.
I think.
There's the African bit of parenting, and then there's that global sort of.
I think we need to mix a bit of the two because from some people that I've seen, they really need, like, they have very calm parents, like the very European
Yeah.
style parents, and they would need a bit of an African parent.
Bit of iron
Everything.
hand man. Hi there. Could you take a second off your time to just like and subscribe? Because your likes, your subscription, this is what helps us get more views and, of course, helps us, keep growing and getting better and better. Our conversations here are not just going to be centered around us or ourselves, but are going to branch out into community. Now, the Unresearched podcast has something very, very interesting, something very special coming up. We want to reach out to the ghetto, which is literally where I am. I don't want to say it's where I'm from, but I have had a lot of closeness with the ghetto and relate so easily with the ghetto people. Now, we are doing something very special. We want to reach out to some ghetto kids, some children who are living in the ghetto, especially those interested in music, because my heart and passion is for music and media, and get them involved in, or rather enrolled in music school. So for a very, very small contribution, for as little as $80, you can get a child in music school per month. Of course, this child will still continue with their normal education and then also be a part of the music. That is for those who have a passion for music. Then lastly, would you consider partnering with us? We're still setting up the studio. Like you can see, there's still a lot of stuff we have not yet properly set up, and we're just looking for people who are willing to partner with us. We need about 5 million Ugandan shillings, and that is what we need in order to build and set up ourselves and move up from where we are now to slightly where we can, do better, get better visuals and better everything. So consider partnering with the Unresearched podcast today. Thank you.
If I say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because sometimes it's just people can get away with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
sometimes I
crazy.
see how they talk to their parents and I'm still shocked.
Yeah. Despite the time that the
Yeah.
amount of time you've been there.
Yeah.
If you had a chance to sit down with the Minister of Education and Sports,
Yeah.
what would you tell her? Assuming I'm the Minister of Education now, I've called you for a cup of coffee and we're talking, and I'm asking, so what changes do you think would affect in our education system? What would you say?
I think you could do a bit of more like experience-based learning. Like for certain subjects, I'm not fully sure how everything is taught. But I'd say it's more you get the book, you read about it in the book, you don't really do much outside of the
Yeah,
book.
you read the book to pass the exams. That's how it is.
Exactly. Instead of actually like going maybe to do the thing that's in the book. Because some of the things that can be easily replicated, but teachers aren't replicating it. Because if a student, because some students would learn better if they knew what they were doing instead of just reading it in a book, because that might be a bit complicated for some things. So if you saw how it was working and you could actually like work on it yourself, it would definitely help some people.
Okay. So let's move now to the business again. You mentioned something about some businesses would work, some businesses would not work.
Yes.
And from your statement, I can tell you see a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like Uganda is vast, and they still, despite the fact that people say our economy is bad, which it is, there is still opportunity because we have investors
Yes.
coming in to put in money, and they want to see change and make money off Ugandans.
Yes.
We do have people traveling from Uganda to other
Yes.
countries to work as house helps.
Yes.
I think you've heard that, and
Yes, I
you've
have.
probably even seen videos of someone maybe going to Dubai or Oman.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. And they're going there. You'll find a very qualified pediatrician, maybe a nurse,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, there's no opportunity. Let me go clean the toilets in another country. It's better
Yeah.
paying. What's your opinion on, on that kind of thing?
I would say I'm not sure I can find the right words to phrase it.
I'll tell you mine. I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot go through, fine, we're not the best, but you cannot go through a certain level of education, a certain level, and then get to a point
Yes.
and throw that all away and say, I'm going to earn maybe 1.4 million in Oman or 1.5,
Yeah.
cleaning toilets, just staying in the house the whole time, and only leaving when I'm coming back to Uganda.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a million question marks there.
Yeah. And then also here they might not be able to get that
That amount of money.
employment. Yeah.
That's true, but look at it this way. I'm in
Because
Uganda.
they are like they're very qualified,
Yeah,
but sometimes they might not have the place.
it's always, the issue is always like you said, money and employment.
Yes.
So, but how about the opportunity? That, like, for example, you see, like, there's opportunity to make money. What
Yeah.
if the other day I hosted someone here? She's a nurse.
Yes.
I hosted someone in the Unresearched podcast, Sabrina, of the JSABI concepts.
Yes.
She's a nurse, qualified nurse, but she branched out now. She's into business. She's what many Ugandans would call a broker, or connecting a client
Yes.
to maybe an apartment or a house or place for sale. But she's learned.
Yes.
So I'm thinking there's opportunity. We just need to think out of the box.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we studied, how we study education, that many people are going through the system to just pass exams and be employed. Whereas I've seen the education system in China, a couple of videos, TikTok, and China and some different places. The kids, this is proactive,
Yeah.
the education. I've seen the Dawn International School here in Bali, for example.
Yes.
They're doing let me just call it an international syllabus.
Yes, they're doing the same one that I'm doing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that is, mostly proactive. You study something that you can practically use
Yes.
to survive.
Like if they would learn something in a science book and somebody's wanting to be anything related in that field, like a pharmacist, scientist,
Yeah.
anything in that field, they would also do the experiment, see how it would work in real time and in real life. And if mistakes are made, you can see, oh, I learned this in a book. I think this is where I made my mistake, because, and then you can work out what happened, what went wrong in your experiment, what could have gone better, because you've seen what happened. So now you can also learn how to fix a mistake that couldn't even be in the that might not be in the book. So now you have more than what you actually started with.
All right.
Yeah.
Music. What music do you like?
I
Do you
wouldn't
listen to?
know
Okay.
how to.
Have you listened to compa?
No.
I thought it's more common in a French.
Yes.
Who's your favorite artist?
I wouldn't know what to say. I don't really listen to music too much. And every time I do, it's something different.
Okay.
So I wouldn't like box it into one thing.
What Ugandan artists do you know?
Not very many.
Okay, 2 Ugandan artists. Give me 2 Ugandan artists. Give me 2 Nigerian artists.
I don't know Nigerian artists either.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You don't know Thames?
No.
How?
I'm very bad with favorites. I'm very bad with favorites.
Okay, top
Yeah.
2 movies that you've watched in the last 3 months.
Oh, I watched Moana 2 and I really, really liked that.
Okay.
And one thing that was interesting was it's sometimes hard to describe Uganda to my classmates because they're all white and it's really hard to explain to them. There's only, I think, one of my classmates who has watched Queen of Katwe.
Yes,
And
Queen of
I-
Katwe, very good production, by the way. It's a really solid
Yeah.
movie.
And so I was talking to him yesterday and he was asking, is everywhere in Uganda like Queen of Katwe?
Well, for the most part, I would say. It's because it has a lot of ghetto
Yes.
in it, yes.
So that's basically all they showed. So I was like, no, not all of Uganda is like that. There are definitely some parts like that, but not everywhere. And like I was also explaining how, because I was going on a bus to come to Mbale,
Yeah.
and I was explaining how in Uganda we only have one airport and we don't have trains going from place to place.
Yeah.
So I was explaining that.
Do you
and
tell
I
them about
was-
our borders, our bikes?
Yes, I was also explaining that.
Yeah.
And it was a long conversation to explain. Yeah.
So,
Because out there they don't really know much about Africa. Like there was a time me and my friend, we went to a restaurant. And in France it's odd when people speak English.
okay.
So they were asking me and my friend who is French, she's white, but she speaks perfect English. And they were asking her, and so they asked both of us, oh, where are you from? And I answered first. I said, oh, I'm from Uganda. And then you could tell this person had no clue where that was.
Most people don't.
Because he asked my white friend, who was right next to me, are you also from Uganda?
Wow. I think it's easier if you say I'm from East Africa.
That's not going to help.
So it's easier to just say I'm from Africa.
Africa is just, yeah.
Yeah, because again, the country is really small. There's like 1 million countries in, okay, not 1 million, but you get the gist. There's
Yeah.
so many countries in. And here's the funny thing: you'll tell someone, "Oh, maybe I'm from Uganda," and the person will say, "Oh, do you know my friend? I know this guy. He's called," and then he'll mention a random name,
Yes.
and then go on to say, "I think he or she lives in Nigeria." So they would expect Nigeria and Uganda just right there.
Yeah.
And everybody knows somebody.
No, but they don't know anybody, so they wouldn't even think of asking me.
Okay.
Like they all know about 2 African countries, and that's because there's another African girl and they know where she's from.
Okay. What was your favorite childhood memory, man? Favorite childhood memory
In Uganda,
Growing up, favorite games, maybe. Something you liked doing while you were little. Something not embarrassing or even embarrassing.
I'll say this is one of my favorite childhood memories.
Yeah.
Was when, because usually when I go to Mbale, it's just my family, and my cousins, if they go, we were never really going at the same time.
Okay.
But this one time, we were actually going together. We were going in the same car all together,
Okay.
and that trip was probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
And
Family. It had
yeah.
a family. So you're a family person. You love
Yeah.
family time. We are winding this down. And I want to I want to see the world from your eyes one last time. Born in Bali,
Yes. Born in
raised,
Kampala.
Born in Kampala, okay.
But-
Born in Uganda, let me use that.
Yes.
Born in Uganda, been to Bali, then lived in different parts
Yeah.
of the world gives you a certain perspective.
Yeah.
Could you just generalize that and put it like in a nutshell? What's that like, the experiences you've got, and what that makes you, or what that makes you want to do, how that makes you feel?
I think that now when I look around, I just see the differences between two places, the similarities, the differences, the good and the bad
Okay.
of both places. Like if I'm in France, I'd be like, oh, that would be nice in Uganda. Or if I'm in Uganda, I was like, oh, that would be nice in France. Or I'd be like, oh, this is one thing that Uganda does better, or this is one thing that France does better. So it's like more back and forth with everything that I see.
Okay.
Or it's like if I'm doing something that is completely like out of the norm for somewhere I live, it's like I'm in Uganda, or see something that's normal here and not normal there, I'll be thinking, oh, how would my classmates react if they saw this for the first time? Or how would they think about this? What would they think about that? And I do it in both ways, in both wherever I live. Yeah. Like one thing that's interesting is the different, like how my grades look. If you put them side to side, the numbers would not be normal. I think I'll start from grade 4. That was my last year in Uganda. And then when I changed curriculums, also changed numbers, because it went to year 6, which is grade 5, because everything is in order, just different systems made different numbers. So if it was grade 4, year 6, sixième, we just translate into like 6th. And then I was in cinquième, which is 5. And then I was in year 9, which, so 9. And now I'm in troisième, which is 3. So my classes go 4, 6, 6, 5, 9, 3.
What's that?
Like the grades, like how you'd be in P1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4.
Oh,
That's
so-
how my classes are going now.
Wanda. I mean, Wanga Syria, it's really not easy. It's really
Yeah.
not easy. That's like back and forth. It sounds
Yeah.
like a back and forth to me.
It is like back and forth.
So anyway, thank you so much for coming
Yes.
through. Hopefully we'll chat a little bit more. Maybe someday we'll do like a video. We'll do like, what's it called? We'll do the interview while you're in France and I'm here.
Yes.
And we'll just talk, and maybe you'll take us around,
Yeah.
you know, show us a few things, maybe class and stuff like that while you're in France.
Yeah.
That's something that I think some of my people would be
Yeah.
curious
I
to
can
see.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people would be curious to see what that would look like. Some of you want to travel, some of you really want to study, and you probably are wondering, what is life like in the, what would life be like if I went to this part of the country?
Yeah.
You can actually, you don't have to go to the US, you don't have to go to England, you don't have to go to this. The world is really vast. You could choose to go study in Greece, in Rome, yeah, you don't need to worry about the language. I mean, the language did not scare you so much, did it? At first?
Maybe at first, but then you get into it.
Yeah.
If you have the motivation to learn, you can learn.
And researched with Isaac Darlington.